Hi everyone, Todd Shellnut here with CFI Pro Courses, and we're about to take this to, again, a next level. We just got finished talking about Area of Operation II, Task M in our Flight Instructor PTS, and now we're on to the second part of this, which actually kind of, I don't know why examiners and why the FAA actually writes it like this, because these two things are actually quite the same. But we're going to be talking about the piggyback to Area of Operation II Task Mike, which is the logbook endorsements and stuff in preparation of a check ride. But this is actually the one that I think is the meat and potatoes, because this is the one that examiners ask most of the questions on. But it actually comes from Area of Operation III Task A, which is called certificates and endorsements, certificates and documents. Sorry about that. And where we're going from here is, in the past video, we talked about the endorsements themselves. But this one, as you can see here, it says that in Area of Operation III Task A, the examiner must select at least one task. And normally they ask you Task A and then they ask you another task normally. Because they don't know how to draw the difference between this task and Area of Operation II Task Mike, because basically nobody reads it and they don't know how to read it. So I'm trying to tell you the proper way to read it so that way you'll know what the deal is. But be fully prepared for an examiner to ask you these questions. Now, let's see what this is asking and let's go from there. Number one says, let's actually read the objective first. To determine that the applicant exhibits instructional knowledge of the elements related to certificates and documents by describing, number one, the training requirements for the issuance of a recreational, private, and commercial pilot certificate. So, where would we go from there? You've already seen all the answers, folks. We've already given you all the regulations. You know where all this stuff is located at. Now we have to start putting these things together. So let's go over to the Code of Federal Regulations, the CFRs, and let's actually see where this is located. So first off, the training requirements for the issuance of recreational. All right, if that would be what we're looking for, let's go over to the CFRs and we'll go up to recreational. And if we go here, we can see that we have the applicability and eligibility, the knowledge, like the bookwork, which you need to know, flight proficiencies, which is maneuvers and procedures, and aeronautical experience, which is going to be your flight time. So here in each one of these, flight proficiency is always going to be where we have what we have to do, and aeronautical knowledge is going to be what we have to know. So if I go back over here, I'm going to be flopping back and forth between each one of these things. The training requirements for the issuance of a recreational. So first off, I've got to go and make sure that I have all the knowledge. So when I go through the knowledge, I want to make sure I know everything in 61.97 here. I've already gone over with this in a prior video. You can just go through the montage of regulation videos and find this, and you can see exactly what has to be done. But you have to accomplish everything within this. That's the ground training portion of it. And then if I go back and I want to know everything I've got to do for the flight proficiency, then it's everyone in 61.98. And everything that you see here for a single engine airplane, of course, all the way down to there. So let's just actually say that from there to there. And that is the answer to, let's call it 1A. So Area 1 and then recreational. What about private pilot? What are the training requirements for the issuance of a private pilot? Well, let's go back over to the regs. Let's go back one screen and we'll go down to private pilots. And as you can see here, it almost reads the same. Applicability, eligibility, the knowledge, the flight stuff, and the flight time. So if I want to know the training requirements, I'd have to go to the aeronautical knowledge, and there's everything I've got to know for the bookwork. I scroll down to 107, and there's everything I've got to know for the flight portion. But remember, it's only Bravo 1 that applies to you, so only those items. You can completely bypass the remainder of the reg. This is the only thing that applies to you. Don't make it complicated. And that is it. And then, of course, if we were to go down to 109, there is the requirement for the flight time. So again, 61.109A is the only thing that deals with the single engine. So from there down to there, you can scrap the rest of 109 because this is the only one that deals with single engine. Now, if you're going for a multi-engine add-on, then you want to make sure that you understand the multi-engine stuff. If you're a helicopter freak, then you want to go to helicopter stuff. So, and so on and so on and so on. Gyroplane there. For the rest of the regs, it's just all the different other categories. Pretty simple. So let's go back here and see. Now we've done recreational, we've done private. What about commercial? Well, let's go back to the regs. Let's go back one and let's go down to commercial. And we can see here exact second verse, same as the first. Applicability, eligibility, there's what you need to know bookwork, there's what you need to know in the flight, and there's what you have to, the quality of your flight time has to be. So I'll just go ahead and click on it so that way you can see. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Here's all of your book knowledge stuff that you have to do. And if we scroll down, let's see, just Bravo 1 for single engine. So just that, that's it. And then for the, this going a little bit longer for the flight time. Here it is, airplane single engine, and we go all the way down to there. So everything that you see within the blue there is all for single engine. Again, if you're doing like multi-engine add-on stuff or multi-engine initial, then it's this paragraph and so on and so on and so on for all the different categories. I hope I'm not going too fast, but as you can see, I'm basically playing cleanup for things that you've already learned in the past. Let's go to number 2 and see if we can get number 2 out of the way. The privileges and limitations of a pilot certificate and ratings at the recreational, private, and commercial levels. Again, if we keep going back and forth, you'll see how incredibly simple this is. So privileges and limitations to recreational, private, and commercial. Let's look and see where that is. Let's go back one screen. So here is the one for recreational, and it is there. Recreational pilot privileges and limitations, and I would just click there and it would show me all those. So if I wanted to do private pilot, I would simply just go down to 113, which is there. Private pilot privileges and limitations, and then if I want to go to commercial, I would go to 133, and that is that. Again, these are things that we've already talked about. I don't need to go over them again. Just go back to the regs 1, and you can see how fast we're going through this. Now we're getting closer to the end because it took us so long to get through all the stuff to get to this particular point. It actually goes pretty quick when you get here and know where to go. That's the biggest point, is knowing where to go. Let's go back over here. Did we satisfy number 2? We did satisfy number 2. Class and duration of medical certificates. Again, back here to the regs. We'll go back up here to the main part. 61.23 is where that's going to be located. And we just go right down to the fancy little chart there, and boom, there's everything that you have to know for the how long it's good for and whatnot. Again, if you go back to the 6123 reg that we had on this, is all the things that we would have, including some questions that the examiner may ask on a ride like that. So let's go back, so we'll be at the ready, and that would take care of class and duration of medical certificates. And here is another one here, number 4, recent pilot flight experience, or excuse me, recent pilot flight experience requirements. And where would that be located at? So what have you got to do to stay current? So that comes from 61.56, 57, and 58 if you are a jet jock. So we'll go to 56. You can see there's the flight review, and we have the several ways that we can satisfy the requirements of a flight review. You can do the flight review, minimum 1 hour flight, 1 hour ground. You have to do the, or you could take another practical test, or you could take part in the Wings program, complete a phase of the Wings program, or if you're a military pilot and you do your military recurrency stuff, that would also take care of the flight review. Any add-on ratings, that would also do the flight review. And you as a flight instructor are authorized to do flight reviews as well. So that's one of the big things. We'll actually probably have one dedicated thing just on the flight review, as I actually go through the guide for the flight review that the FAA has, which is a very powerful little device. Even for those who are already CFIs who may be watching this, you definitely want to tune in when you see me post the one for the flight review, because that's going to be a big one there. And 57, what does 57 say? Refuel. If you remember back from where we went over this to begin, at the beginning. The recent flight experience is going to be everything that you have, like your 3 takeoff and landings to a full stop at night, your tail dragger stuff, your night, your 6-6 hit for instruments, your 6 approaches within 6 months, holding, intercept, and tracking. All that stuff is located within 57. And then if you're a jet jock, then you would have to make sure that you do your annual recurrency training in the jet, or something that is a typable type thing. Sorry about the ringing there. I need to figure out how to turn my notifications off on my new Mac. So apologize for the ding. Then we have again, that's just for that. And that takes care of number 4. Let me get rid of that. And number 5, lastly, required entries in pilot logbook or flight record comes from 61.51 and 61.189. You can make a record of that off to the side. Thank you so much for allowing me to again be a part of your journey to become a powerful Jedi CFI. I think that the more that you know about this information, which is not natural, this is not natural way of doing things. Because the FAA has this big grandiose idea to write a very minimal amount of regs to cover this large area, it is very confusing, and I'm glad I'm there to help you kind of sort through the mud and the muck. Please continue to keep me posted about how you're doing. I really feel great when I get the emails that you've passed your CFI check ride and that it was because I helped you get through it. That is a big ordeal for me. So thank you for allowing me to be part of that journey. Thank you for being a loyal patron, and I look forward to many more videos in the future that I could help you to grow and prosper as a CFI. I'm Todd Shelnut with CFI Pro Courses. Bye-bye.